Hey guys, so today we have a bit of a weird video. I don't know what persuaded these people to do what they did, but it's not great for their career, it's not great for their channel, and we're here to talk about it. So subscribe with the bell icon for engagement, and let's just get into it. So we have a channel called Watcher on YouTube, run by Steven, Ryan, and Shane, and you probably know them from BuzzFeed, where they used to do BuzzFeed Unsolved. They managed to obviously move away from BuzzFeed, like the Try Guys, like Sophia, just like a bunch of people that moved away from BuzzFeed and then started getting really good consistent views on their personal channels and were able to keep all of the money for themselves rather than having to obviously share it with BuzzFeed and maybe get paid like a salary essentially. So they started their own channel called Watcher, where they make really high quality content of all sorts of different topics, but they did build a pretty good audience with just under 3 million subscribers and pretty consistent views across the board, probably like 1 million per video, and most videos are sponsored. So you can imagine like, oh, the video's also over 30 minutes long, so the amount of ads they're able to put on the videos and then the sponsors, I bet their audience are very dedicated, so they do end up buying the sponsored product, and then that leads the sponsors to want to come back and give them a higher rate. And so I think they're making probably, if I had to estimate, I mean, on the low end, I think they're making 20K per video, but I think on the high end, but I think they could be making 30, 40K per video. I'm saying like 10K for AdSense with a $10 CPM, but I think they could have a higher CPM, like 15 or 20, which would then make it like 20,000 per video. And then I think they're getting probably the same, if not more, in a sponsor. So another like 10 to 20K, that puts it at around 20 to 40K per video, in my humble opinion, okay? Because they're pretty brand friendly as well. Like, I think overall, that's my idea. So they recently posted a video saying goodbye to YouTube. And in this video, they basically say that all of their content is now going to go behind a paywall on their own subscription service called Watcher, which is going to be $5.99 per month.
In all seriousness, we really couldn't be more excited for you guys to join us on this next chapter, hopefully. We'd love for you guys to come along with us. But at the same time, this is our final goodbye to YouTube. And you know, if it's our goodbye to you, I hope it's not, but if it is, I do want to say thank you for supporting us all along the way.
Your viewership has allowed us to do all these wonderful things that we've done these past 4 years, and we hope that you'll come along for the ride.
And help us continue to build.
Yeah.
Build this thing out even bigger. That's the hope at least, but either way, it's been fun. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And they claim that they picked this price because anyone can afford it.
Steven, talk about money.
Yeah, what's this price?
You can become a member of Watcher for $5.99 a month or $59.99 a year.
We want to keep the price low enough where anybody and everybody is able to afford it, but it also has to support the things that we do here. So that was the number that just made the most sense for the streamer.
Which is very interesting to say in the middle of an economic crisis, but also it's very interesting to say when people are already paying so many different services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Spotify or Apple Music, and then you're typically paying for Now TV or HBO Max or Peacock, like, and so many different services, and we're all getting burnt out of them, and all of the prices are going up all the time. I feel like multiple times a year, the price is going up. So people are already so burnt out, and we almost miss the days of just TV, like cable TV, because I think that was so simple. You just paid one thing and you had it all. You had all the channels. Now you're having to be like, okay, well, I want to watch this show, but that one's on Amazon Prime, but I want to watch this movie and this one's on Netflix, but then this show is on Peacock, but then this one's on HBO Max. And you have to essentially buy all of these services to just watch a handful of things of each service. And so it's very interesting that they would have done this, like now, knowing how people are super burnt out of services and like subscription services. But they claim that they're doing this because they're providing high quality content and that they think it deserves to basically be treated like TV. Like not like YouTube, but like TV.
But it feels like we are just at the point where we've hit a bit of a ceiling in terms of what YouTube is able to offer.
More than 50% of our business is run by advertising. We are relying on ads to make money, to pay the bills, to run this office, to make beautiful content for all of you guys out there. Unfortunately, over time, the deals that we were getting in 2019, 2020 are looking a lot different than they are today. We're making something for two audiences. We're making it for the fans, all of you out there, and we're also making it to please the advertisers. It's difficult to make the stuff that we want to make and also then appeal to the advertisers as well.
It costs a certain amount to make content in the way that we do it. We try to put things on the screen that we feel adheres to a certain level of quality that you would find on, say, a Netflix or something like that. But in doing so, it does cost a certain amount. Like for example, a Ghost Files episode. First, we have to travel to the location itself. We have to pay the location fee. We have to pay freelance staff that comes to help us shoot that when we're shooting in the studio. We have to pay for the studio to shoot the actual episode in. Then we have to pay for post. Before that, we also have to do the pre-production of the episode. And when you add that all up, we're talking about an end of a season that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm not sitting here complaining that is the bed we've made. Everyone has different missions they're marching towards on YouTube. Ours was to make a television show. And, you know, over time, you start to realize like, hey, maybe television shows aren't meant for YouTube. Perhaps we should find a different place that's better suited to the content that we're making and can support the dollar amounts that we're putting into each of these episodes so that we're not constantly running around trying to find sources of revenue to support the model.
It would be great if we could find a way to rely less on advertising, not make it such a big part of our business. And so we've been working over the past few months and years, like how can we make this business more sustainable? How can we make something where we can make the things that we want to make for all of you guys and not be worried about all the other forces that are here? In terms of where this company is going and where I believe that we can be the most successful, YouTube is no longer the place for that.
Which like is really rich because there are people like Mr. Beast who spend millions on every video and it's very high quality, but they still don't put it behind a paywall. They just rely on AdSense and sponsors and like merch. I think merch is a good way, merch and product to generate that extra revenue. But people said they're essentially not coming back to every video because of the quality, but they're coming back because of the relationship that the guys have with each other and how fun it is to watch them interact and how fun it is to watch them make content. And even if it wasn't so high quality and so overproduced, they would still watch it. Now, they also have an active Patreon that is still up, right? And Patreon is very interesting because you can see how many members someone has. And so they have over 12,000 members and they have 3 tiers, okay?
I'm editing the video and I realized that the numbers I put up on the screen for the tiers are obviously in Great British pounds, which is roughly 20% less than US dollars, roughly. So yeah, the prices that I'm saying out loud are US dollars, but the prices you saw on screen were Great British pounds, just in case anyone's confused.
The cheapest one is $7.50 a month. The second one is $14.50 a month. And the third one is $35.50 a month. Now you do get a bit of a discount if you do an annual subscription, but I don't know how many people are doing an annual one. I don't know how many people are doing a monthly, and then you can't see how many people are subscribed to each individual tier. So what I did is I essentially said, what if everyone is just subscribed to the cheapest tier on a monthly basis? And I think that then averages out because let's say someone subscribed to the mid tier, but they're paying an annual membership, that might essentially be what it would cost to subscribe monthly to the cheapest. And then some people are maybe subscribed to the highest tier, but I don't know how many. So I essentially said on a minimum, with everyone being subscribed to the lowest tier on a monthly basis, it would be $90,000 a month. And that is like the minimum, essentially. So that's $90,000 a month. And then I said that they're making probably 20 to 40K per video. I mean, they're making like minimum 100K a month, essentially, right? 150K a month. And I just don't know why you would then need to get more money from your audience and put everything behind a subscription service. And what if people had paid for Patreon upfront for the whole year, and now you're saying, oh, we're just moving to this whole new subscription service? Are you still going to provide things for the people on that Patreon that they subscribed for? And they did a countdown to this announcement as if it was this like most exciting thing in the world. And obviously then it ended up being this news that people are super not excited about. And I just don't think this is how they wanted everything to go. And they haven't responded yet at all to the situation, which I don't know, they would just have to cancel the whole subscription service. I think that's the only way people would be super happy, is if they just like said, psych guys, we're not doing it. It was a joke. They lost 40,000 subscribers day one of posting the video. And then the next day was 30,000 they lost, and then 20,000, and then 10,000. But I think that's today, so we will kind of see how that goes. But they used to gain 10,000 every like 1 to 2 weeks before posting this video. So you're consistently gaining like every week or so 10,000 subscribers. I don't know what they thought would happen when they announced this, and they were clearly like really excited about launching this. And I have seen people launch kind of subscription services in the past, like a Patreon, or like for extra content, go on my website, or for like extra content, you know, subscribe to this. But it's never all the content. It's never like, oh, now we're just leaving this whole audience behind. We don't want you guys watching our content for free, and we just want to get paid. I think it's fine. Like, I think some people are probably going to come over and watch your content. I just don't know if it's going to come out to more. Did they have this idea that like all 1 million people that watch every single one of their videos are going to go over and subscribe for $5.99 a month? Because that's like insanity if they actually thought anything close to those numbers was going to happen. I don't know how many people, so let's say they do make 150K a month. Let's just say it's 150 to round it out. I think it's more, but let's just say 150. Divided by 5.99, they would have to have 25,000 subscribers every single month subscribe to this service. I mean, is it doable? Yeah. Like out of 3 million subscribers on YouTube, 1 million are actively watching every video. Could they get even 100,000 subscribers to that? I mean, I don't know, because even the Patreon, it's more expensive, $7.50 a month on the lowest tier, but they only have 12,000 members on there. Do they just not promote it enough? So if we're basing it on the 12,000 Patreon members, then 12,000 times $5.99 a month is only 72,000 a month, which they make more than that on the Patreon, and they make more than that with AdSense. So I think this could have been done if maybe it was like a Patreon service where like some content maybe once a month or twice a month or something gets posted to this subscription service, but then in reality that is what the Patreon is, and they should have just kept it at the Patreon. I haven't seen a channel that beloved and like a channel super unproblematic, not controversial, do such a mess up that it destroys the image that people have had of them to their like audience. And I think the last time we saw that was the React channel, the React Bros, when they tried to copyright the word react, so that if you wanted to make reaction content on YouTube, you had to like go through them essentially, and they had to like walk it back because it was such a bad idea and everyone hated them. And I think since then they haven't like recovered. I'm seeing the same here, where it's like such a weird slip up where it makes your audience feel really unappreciated. Like, oh, you guys are not paying us for every single video. F you, essentially. When in reality, you wouldn't have the sponsors if it wasn't for the people watching your videos, and you wouldn't have the AdSense if it wasn't for your videos. But they claim that they want something more reliable than AdSense and sponsors and like relying on brands, but like you're still relying on your audience to watch the content. So it's like the same thing. I don't know. This was such a bad idea, and I just don't know how they're gonna address this, but I'm waiting. And if anything happens until I post this video, then I'll update you guys.
Just popping in while I'm editing. Update is that they have posted an update video in which they basically kind of walk back some of what they said, but still keep the streaming service. They're trying to compromise on both, like what they wanted to do and what the audience wanted. Now, I know a lot of people prematurely cancel them, like I talked about in my video with the Social Blade, with the loss of subscribers and all of this stuff, right? But from what I've heard, that they're not problematic guys. They're pretty, you know, like they want to do things right. They want to do things well by the audience. And I think this was just a massive misstep for them. Like they just misunderstood what their audience wanted. And sometimes that happens where there's like a misalignment of what the creator thinks the audience wants and what the audience actually wants. And the moment that they saw the criticism from their own audience, they saw the pushback, they adjusted in a way that was a compromise for both them and the audience. And I think that's really good. And I think some people are going to say, oh, you know, they're only doing this because they got called out. But like, yeah, obviously if you do something and your audience pushes back, surely that audience then wants you to fix it. But on YouTube, it really does feel like you do something wrong, people push back, you either say sorry or you miss it, you know, you adjust differently, you do something differently, and then they're like, oh, well, you only did this because you got called out. It's like, yeah, that's how people improve in life. You don't know you're doing something wrong, you do something wrong, people call you out, you stop doing that wrong thing, and you say sorry if you are really sorry. So I know we're gonna get a lot of people being like, oh, they only did this because they got called out. It's like, yeah, they didn't kill someone. They just misstepped, and they've adjusted now. In the update, they talk about how essentially things will come out on the streamer a month before, and then they'll be posted on YouTube for free a month later. So if you want the content a month earlier, you subscribe to the streamer for $5.99 a month or $60 a month, $60 a year. And then if you don't want to pay that, you just wait an extra month and you can watch it on YouTube. So I think that's a pretty good compromise. Like if you wanna, it basically works a bit like a Patreon at this point, just like early access content, but without having to, I'm assuming, give a percentage of your money to Patreon, because I'm assuming that's how Patreon works. They take like a percentage of what you make. And so yeah, that's that on that.
Last Friday, we announced that we're leaving YouTube and launching our new streaming platform.
We messed up. A lot of you spoke out with extremely valid comments and concerns, and we want to take the time now to address those.
We're sorry for how we originally delivered our goodbye message to YouTube. It was insensitive. We didn't properly express how much we appreciate all of you, and we did a really bad job of explaining the reasoning behind this transition.
With that in mind, we're making some changes to ensure that there's a way for our community to continue watching our content for free.
If you want to watch our shows early and ad-free, you can catch them on the Watcher platform a month earlier. After that, you'll be able to watch our shows on YouTube for free. For those that have already subscribed to the platform, we are so grateful for your support. But if this change has you rethinking your membership, we will issue a full refund.
Subscribe to the bell icon for engagement. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.